Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm gonna go over some pretty cool nuclear tech mod changes which were added this month after the addition of pressurized water reactor. This is going to include water pumps, Schrabidate capacitors, industrial smokestacks, express conveyor belts, and even the nuclear bomb changes, cause concrete was nerfed and now it can be destroyed using nuclear bombs. So yeah, we have cool looking explosions like this which can even take down concrete structures. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Starting the video with steam powered groundwater pump and electric groundwater pump. Now both of these are very simple to craft and they are meant to replace the infinite water barrels that we have. So the steam powered groundwater pump will be the very first thing that you are going to craft, and its electric counterpart is a bit more expensive, but it also outputs 10 times more water than the steam one. So let's start with the steam powered groundwater pump. First things first, you will need to place it on like grass, dirt or sand. It won't work if you place it on solid stone. Next up, as it needs steam to run, I'm going to set up an infinite barrel here, and it also outputs low pressure steam. So if we start giving it some steam, there it will start supplying water to the biggest tank that we have. So it consumes 2000 millibuckets per second of steam, and it outputs 20,000 millibuckets per second of water, which is a pretty decent rate of production, actually double than the normal infinite heavy water barrel. As for the electric one, it is set up in a similar way, just it doesn't take any steam but instead HE or power. So setting up some infinite power here, and this one will consume 20,000 HE per second, but it will also output 200,000 millibuckets per second of water. So that's the groundwater pumps, the steam type and the electric type. Next up we have the Schrabidate capacitor. Now this capacitor has the highest capacity out of every capacitors that we had in this mod. Here's the crafting recipe, as you can see, and it functions in a similar manner to every other capacitor. So this one has a capacity of 50 GHz, which is like the highest, as I told you, out of everyone. Copper has 1 MHz, this golden one we have 5, 25, and the final one, tantalum, has 150 MHz per second. But yeah, the storage capacity is the highest, and once we connect it like this, so yeah, that can function as a pretty big storage for your system. So that was the Schrabidate capacitor, sorry. And while we are talking about power, there's another block that has been added, which is the power gauge. Now this power gauge is used to measure the amount of power flowing through a system, just like how the fluid gauge works. And the crafting recipe is also very similar. This one uses the coated cable, the coated copper cable, and this one uses the pentable pipe. So if I place down a power gauge right here, then it will display the amount of power being transferred from the storage system into all of the capacitors. So 20 for each pump, total is 60. If we place it between capacitor and the pump, then it will show the 20,000 HE per second which each pump is consuming. So this is pretty handy, as you don't have to look into the storage block to see the amount of power a system is consuming. Next up, we take a look at express conveyor belts. But before we do that, first things first, every conveyor item in this mod now, when hovered over and you press left shift, then it will display what it can do. Now we have express conveyor belts. Now express conveyor belts are much faster than the normal ones, and they are crafted using 8 normal conveyor belts along with some engine lubricant, and that will give express conveyor belts. So to measure the speed difference, I'm going to set up 2 crate systems along with side by side normal conveyor belts and express conveyor belts, and there will be the ejection upgrade for both of them. And now I'm going to have 9 stacks of grass or any item actually, and yeah, as you can see, the express conveyor belt is much faster than the normal one. So while the normal conveyor belt has like only inputted a single stack, the express one will have 2 stacks. So it's much faster than the normal conveyor belt, and it's fun to make little things with it. So here goes a Diatlo-sama, and yeah, it's a fun looking shrine for any of your HBM build. So that was the conveyor belt, and while we are on the topic of conveyor belts, the next thing we have is the conveyor press. Now conveyor press will be made using copper plates, a single conveyor belt and an electric press, but automating this one is very simple compared to the other presses, as it already has a conveyor belt running and you can attach other conveyor belts to it, but it doesn't have any GUI. So you can install any stamp by right clicking, and clicking it with a screwdriver will remove that. Once you give it some power and connect some conveyor lines, then it is very easy to just automate anything. So here I'm going to go with the 5mm bullet assembly, and as soon as the conveyor line is connected, bullets will travel and they will get stamped and converted into our 5mm bullets. So that's the conveyor press. But yeah, if your belt is too fast, then sometimes an item won't be processed. Like for example, we have the assembly here, it wasn't processed into the 5mm rounds because our conveyor belts are just too fast. And by the way, the 5mm bullet assembly, each one will now give an entire stack of 5mm rounds. So previously it was 32, now it gives an entire stack. And here's the crafting recipe for the UAC pistol. And before it was uncraftable, but now yes, you can actually craft it. And by right clicking, you can activate the burst fire mode. Same goes with Josh actually. So right clicking the UAC pistol or Josh will actually activate their burst fire mode. So 3 bullets will be fired in rapid succession, and left click will just have an automatic mode on Josh and a normal semi-automatic mode on the UAC. Also we have the Trenchmaster Armor, which is pretty cool looking actually, but it doesn't have any crafting recipe as of yet. And it gives you a lot of buffs like speed, haste, jump boost, strength, but it also gives you step assist, faster reloads, and it even has a chance, a 33% chance if I remember correctly, to not consume ammo while you are firing it. So yeah, it's a pretty cool armor. Let's see if a crafting recipe is added or if it is going to be a loot like the mining helmet, which is only found in caves. So yeah, that's for the Trenchmaster Armor. Next, something interesting, we have the Smokestack and the Industrial Smokestack. So Smokestack were already added, I covered them in a previous video, but the Industrial Smokestack is like, it negates 90% of pollution. So the normal smokestack, it used to reduce pollution by 75%. The industrial one reduces it by 90%. And by using NEI, you can see all of the recipes, or basically what it will give you if you place an ash pit below it. So both the normal smokestack and the industrial smokestack will work with the ash pit, and you can use NEI to see all of the different things that you are going to get. Now I'm going to get rid of the infinite steam setup that I had before for the steam powered water pump, and I'm going to replace them using fireboxes and boilers so that we can see the industrial smokestack in action. And once connected, the smokestack is going to look something like this. It's a pretty cool looking structure, especially when you are going for that modern industrial build. And yeah, it will reduce the pollution by 90%. So it's pretty good compared to the normal smokestack. And here, using the pollution detector, you can see the amount of pollution present in the chunk. So soot levels are going up, but pretty slowly. Next up, finally, we have the changes in nuclear bombs. So I covered this in a short, but nuclear explosions are now very cool compared to what they were before. I mean, just take a look at this. There's the flash, which many people were telling me about, that there is no flash. Well, there is a flash when these bombs go off, but the explosion itself, it's very cool looking compared to what it was before. And I think it even improves the performance a little bit. Now, concrete was nerfed, as I told you in the beginning. So normal explosions like grenades or even mini nukes, which are not powerful enough, will not take it down. But explosions which are powerful enough, like for example, I am going with this N2 mine. Such explosions, yes, they will wipe out concrete. So if you now make a bunker which is completely made of concrete, not of Ducrete or something stronger, so yeah, a strong enough nuke can now wipe concrete out. So I'm going to wait for this explosion to settle down a little bit, and then you will see that yeah, the entire structure is just gone because the N2 mine is just too powerful. So yeah, that was the change in the nuclear bombs, the explosions basically, and concrete. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, do smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out and stay safe.